If you're just a good gun technician, how far can you go?
Not very far. Not very far. Not very far. So Fortnite's a weird one because I had two friends at school, because Fortnite came out while I was still in secondary school. Yeah, when I was in like around year 11, I think. And I had two friends who were really on it, like from the get-go. And they were like, you know, Daniel, come back and play. And at that point, I'd actually taken a break from gaming as a whole. Like, I just wasn't playing anything. I don't know what I was doing. But I wasn't like,
what were you doing on a night?
Now I'm thinking about it, like, I don't know what I was doing, but I literally wasn't playing any games, no console games, no PC games, nothing. And they were like,
you telling me you had a life for a small period?
For a small period of time, I had somewhat of a life.
Shame on you for having a life. I mean, honestly, come on.
It's kind of sad. It is kind of sad. But nah, I just remember them really like getting onto me to play it, and I was just like, nah, like I'm not interested. You know, like I was just like, no, I just don't care, I'll be honest. But it got to like the Christmas break, right? And that Christmas break, I had just nothing better to do. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll jump on. And it was just magical. I'd never played a game like that. I'd played Battle Royales before, you know, Minecraft, Hunger Games, H1Z1, you know, just whatever. But this was just different, you know. Fortnite was just different. And then the building components were sick. And I really enjoyed it because of all my friends, I was the best, right? So instantly there was an instant attraction there. Like I could like, you know what I mean? Like you can sort of flex and be like the big man, you know, everybody dies, but you know, they rely on you to clutch up, and you know, you had that, I had that pride there. But just like always with other games, I was like, I want to be better. And so I started like YouTubing and Googling Fortnite, how to improve. And I noticed everybody was on PC, like all the good people at least were on PC. I was playing on console because all my friends were console players, but I quickly switched over to PC and I just kept grinding. I'd play like squad games like on Phil, so you're just playing with random people. And one day I play a squad Phil game and there's this American guy on my team. This American guy, very out. So he was pretty drunk, right? Like he was just very outspoken, just, you know, talking
It's the best
nonsense.
way to play Fortnite, just waste it.
True. And I carried him to a win, and he was like so ecstatic, like he was so happy. He was like, I've got to get you on my team. I've got a pro EU team. I'm gonna get you on there. I'm getting you on there. Add me right now. I'm gonna get you on Discord. We're gonna get you in a pro team. And I'm like, sure, I didn't even know there was like a pro scene. Sure, like I'm gonna be a pro Fortnite player. That's sick. And I get involved, and at the time the pro scene was really small, but like it was good because it introduced me to a lot of people who, some of them are still around now. You know, some great Fortnite players, like people like, you know, Mr. Savage and, you know, Benji Fishy and Mongra, all of those guys were around back then. But I got introduced to a lot of people, and I just started getting involved in the pro scene and, you know, meeting people, making connections really. Was never really that good, was never as good as the other top players, but I could hang in. Do you know what I mean? I could stay afloat.
Yeah.
And eventually when I did decide to like start doing other things outside of actually trying to compete, because I had relationships with those pro players, it meant that like they were familiar with me, they knew me. So it's like, oh, if I wanted to do an interview with a pro, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's Leven, yeah, that's my guy, you know, I'll do the interview. Whereas like nobody was getting people to do interviews with pro Fortnite players at the time. So it sort of gave me a bit of an advantage being able to get with that. But nah, just in general, man, getting into Fortnite was there's no game like it. Do you know what I mean? There's no game like it. So it was always going to be good.
I remember when it first dropped on the I think it was I was the same, you know, on PlayStation. It was a free game, wasn't it? It just came out out of nowhere, and it was like in beta. It was in beta for like God knows how many months, years. Is it still in beta? I think it is. I have no idea.
The beta thing was really good by them, because I think with the beta thing, I don't know if it still applies now, but the beta thing meant that they could keep updating the game weekly, whereas other big games can't do that, because if you're like an official release game, you can like, you have to. The process of making updates to your game is really long with like PlayStation and Xbox and all these like companies. But if you're a beta, you can like update stuff weekly. And so I remember a quote from like another dev going, we can't keep up with Fortnite. They can just update their game every week, and like we're just screwed. Like we have to wait months or some shit. So yeah, they're really smart at the beta thing.
I always look back and I think maybe I could have been great at Fortnite. But the only reason is because I was a PUBG guy. So like, I was playing a lot of PUBG. I don't know if they came out at similar times, but I remember just playing PUBG thinking, this is like, Fortnite's for kids. I was like, it's too bright, it's too colourful. Whereas I just want to be running and gunning, and like, it just feels a lot more like the real world in PUBG. But then as soon as I started fully playing Fortnite, I completely got it, completely understood it. Before you know it, I'm buying skins left, right, and center and all sorts of stuff. But
yeah,
I get it. It's quite addictive, isn't it, Sav?
Mate, I think it absolutely is. I think the reason I think as well that that actually worked in its favor as well, because obviously comparatively to other kind of I guess like the Counter Strikes and Call of Duties and such, the player base is younger, and to a degree, I mean, even the major, we saw that with the World Cup and such as well. I think it was 12 years old was the kind of like or 14 maybe was that kind of like the age. 11, you might correct me there, to get into 13. Actually. It was 13, right? So, which is significantly younger than a lot of other esports titles. It's similar to Overwatch in the sense that it's kind of like, because it's animated and it is the style that it is, it's not kind of seen. It's like how Call of Duty has like a zombies mode, whereas you can show zombies mode sometimes to like a live audience because it's kind of seen as like fantastical violence. It's not like kind of like real. And also, I think that for creators as well, a lot of creators, and similar to you boys, you got a lot of friends in that kind of YouTube space. Because Fortnite, because of how colourful it is and was, every thumbnail, every video just bangs, it pops, it draws you in. So it kind of had all these different kind of elements going for it, which made it so lucrative to basically every single audience. Because if you wanted a hardcore, kind of those who kind of really hardcore play on a professional level, like Leven mentioned, kind of the Benjis and Mr. Savages and such as well. You're going to watch their content, but you could also watch kind of casual stuff. I was sucked in massively by like kind of the Nick A30 squads and the courage and kind of Tim the Tapman, all these kind of guys who were kind of like doing these crazy rocket shots like out of the storms, and like Noah J, all these kind of guys. You just watch. It was just insane because it was so fun to watch. But then it got very, very difficult, right? People were playing it very, very seriously, Lev. Like it was a different game suddenly.
It got sweaty.
Mate. Got sweaty.
Yeah, and I think it's tough because I don't think Epic would have ever predicted what the building mechanics would be. I think they like came up with the building stuff and they thought this is genius. Like people are gonna be building castles and forts to protect themselves. Like, no, like that's just not what it is at all. Like people took that and just accelerated it so far, and it's tough because I think the beauty of Fortnite, even me, as much as I still love the game, the beauty of Fortnite was like back then when nobody was really good, anybody could win. Like you could just play the game for the first time and win one of your first couple games, right? Whereas now that's probably a bit harder, even with them like I think adjusting skill-based matchmaking or whatever. But like, yeah, the game advanced really quickly and it got very difficult. And I think, some people, I think that made it hard for some people, but at the same time, for a lot of people, it was like, I want to improve. Like I want to be like these pro players I'm watching. I want to be like these guys I'm watching. But then again, like even if you find it difficult, you have to appreciate how just magical of a mechanic it is. Like there's nothing like the building mechanics in Fortnite, and the skill that it takes, like the skill gap with it is nuts. Like it is so difficult. You're doing so many actions per second, per minute. It's insane. And
then every so often you got to fire off. Like, this is what I found fascinating. How far can you go, do you think, as a Fortnite player without really, really superb building mechanics? If you're just a good gun technician, how far can you go?
Not very far. Not very far. Not very far.